to last year's Voice of Impact event? Anyone here in the room? Great, awesome. And who here are published authors within the Voices of Impact book? Yes, welcome. We're going to be hearing some amazing stories from our speakers today, speakers/authors. And welcome everybody here. So just firstly, I really would love to acknowledge the venue for helping us get everything sorted today. Let's give them a round of applause. We've got some donuts coming out and our break as well. Free donuts. Woo! Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Secondly, I'd love to acknowledge the crew. We've got our videographer, photographer over here. We have Renee also who's been supporting. Let's give them a round of applause. And myself, I'm actually event managing today. And also our MC unfortunately had something come up today, and so now I'm also the MC. So jumping in, we're wearing all the hats in life and business as women, aren't we? Yeah. And finally, and most importantly, I'd love to acknowledge all of you for taking time out of your Friday to be here, to be in the room, to connect with like-minded women, and to hear some inspiring stories. So give yourselves a round of applause. So my name is Jo Spear. I am the Director of Empire Events and Retreats. So I'm the crazy woman who runs events as her full-time business. I get a lot of people say to me, wow, you're crazy. You're crazy for doing that. And I guess for me, it's just today's an example of showing the resilience and how we need to pivot in life when certain things pop up. And for me, events, often there's things you just don't plan for and you don't expect. And so I'm really great under pressure and able to just tuck and weave when needed. And so I'm really happy to be here. And although I have MC'd before, I was not prepared today. So I'm going to be reading a little bit from the script. And just permission to be perfectly imperfect with you all today, is that okay? Yeah. I think it's also important for us just to know that we're all welcome. All of us is welcome, and sometimes we're not prepared. And it's our ability to show up in our truth and in our vulnerability to actually inspire others, and that's what today is all about. So thank you for seeing me, and thank you for allowing me just to wing it a little bit, right? So I would really love to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we meet upon today as well, past, present, and emerging. And I would love to acknowledge our sponsors as well. So we have Alison here, our gold sponsor. I'm just gonna, it's really hard to do all the things. Here we go. Let's give Alison a round of applause. She's really and we really can't pull off these events without our support and our sponsors. So thank you so much, Alison. Please feel free to scan if you'd like to connect with her on Facebook as well. And she also has a stand up at the back. There are some books up there if you'd like to purchase. And yeah, just feel free to in the breaks to have a chat and get some more information about the amazing work that she does. And we'd also love to acknowledge our other sponsors. We have Danny V, who will be here shortly. She is our silver sponsor. I'm sorry if I pronounced this incorrectly. Naima Khan from Rocket to Profit, and Beck Smith. Unable to be here today, but let's give them a round of applause and acknowledge them as well. Other amazing in business, so if you would like to follow them, please feel free to have a look on their socials and connect and really support women who support other women in business is important. Amazing. So, before we kick off, I'm just going to set the frame of what to expect for today. I'm sorry, this is very, very fumbly. You know what else? I'm actually speaking today too. Yay! And it's funny, I was driving here on my way here and I was like, I haven't actually really prepared what I'm going to speak about. So I'm really just throwing myself in the deep end today and we're going to see what happens. But let's have some fun. Like, you want to have some fun on a Friday, right? Let's agree, lift the energy up. I guess we'll just cover some housekeeping. I think you're all aware that there is a cafe out the front if you want tea, coffee, soft drink, anything like that, please feel free. There's obviously water on the table as well. And this little bar area just out here will open on our lunch break. So if you feel like champagne or something a little bit fancy, feel free as well. We'll have some nice food coming out, some canapes on our lunch break too. If you need to go to the bathroom, feel free. It's kind of all the way out on the other side of the venue. So if you go towards the cafe but then go left a little bit, you'll find the bathrooms down there. But we will have some breaks, so hopefully you can hold it. Also a reminder, just pop your phones on silent if you haven't done so already. And I would just encourage us to be really present and to give the speakers your full attention, because it's nerve-wracking getting up to your public speaking. Who's like, nah, that's not for me. Nah, I wouldn't do it. More people fear public speaking than death. So it can take a lot of courage to get up here and especially share like vulnerable stories and parts of yourself. So I'm excited to hear from our speakers today. So Voices of Impact is a book series that Melanie has created, Melanie Wood, and she will be down shortly. She's actually just putting her dog down for a nap. Mum life. It's actually been so beautiful to work with another woman like this who's prioritising her family and also a woman in business, and really just showcasing the different levels and layers of what does come with being a mum and being a woman and running a business. Is everyone here a business owner or an entrepreneur of some sort? Yeah? Amazing. And if not, I'm sure we still go through different phases in careers and things like that. So Voices of Impact is a book which is designed for visionaries and entrepreneurs to really share their voice. And there's actually 4 volumes now. And so we have a speaker today from each volume. So volume 1, we have Natalie Lewis, who will be speaking. We have Natasha Coolin, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, from volume 2. From volume 3, we have Alison Rochelle, who's our gold sponsor, and Justine Oldfield. And volume 4 is myself, who I'll be speaking later as well. So I believe Melanie's vision last year when she first ran the event was to give these authors an opportunity to really get up and share their voice on stage. And I loved writing the book. It was such an honour to know that this is a legacy piece. Like, this is something that's going to outlive me, and that people get to read my story for years and years and years to come, even beyond me and me here. So I think that most of the women today will be sharing a little snippet of their story, and potentially also how that's impacted their life and where it's led them as well. So they only get 5 minutes each, and trust me, it's really hard to get a talk out in 5 minutes. So let's hope we stay on schedule today. And yeah, let's really support them through that. So what I'll do is I'll be introducing everyone one by one. They will get up and share their story. And later today, we also have a keynote speaker. We've got Mariana Leonard here. She'll be doing a 20-minute talk on empowering women, which is all her vibe. And there'll also be a bit of a Q&A panel later today, which will be your opportunity to ask some of the speakers and sponsors some questions from the audience. So looking forward to it. Who's keen? Who's excited? So as I mentioned, there will be a short break, and that's it. Opportunity for you to network, to mingle, to maybe go up to somebody that you don't know, and also speak to the authors and the sponsors and really hear a little bit more about their story. If it sparks something in you, share that with them, because it's really encouraging as a speaker to hear when something landed for somebody in the audience. So I encourage you, just to network, to meet somebody new who maybe you haven't spoken to before, and use this time as an opportunity. All right, now, there was a little bit of a trigger warning here. I'm not really sure. Some of the stories may bring up some emotion for people today, depending on the topics that they go through. So if you're feeling upset at any point, or it has brought up maybe something for you, please feel free to see one of the team, or to take a breath, get a bit of air, have a glass of water, and ground yourself. And just know that this is a safe space, and if it has brought anything up for you, please feel free to reach out for support, and we're all here to support each other, okay? So, that's enough from me, I think. You're going to hear a lot from me today. So without further ado, we are going to introduce our first speaker. She's already there. Alison, being the gold sponsor today, actually has a 15-minute talk, which is great. So, Alison, the founder of What They Don't Tell You, advocate, speaker, and change maker. Alison is a former senior sergeant turned survivor advocate, truth speaker, and transformation mentor on a mission to close the gap no one talks about. With 15 years in frontline policing and lived experience navigating domestic abuse, disability, and neurodivergence, Alison blends personal power with professional insight to create systemic change. She is the voice behind What They Don't Tell You, an initiative, a movement, and a safe space built to uplift those falling through the cracks. Alison is a speaker, guide, and storyteller who inspires others to rise, reclaim their voice, and rewrite their story. Her work has already helped hundreds feel seen, supported, and empowered with bold honesty and fierce compassion. She's here to show others that healing is possible, freedom is real, and you are never alone. So from Voices of Impact Volume 3, please give Alison a really warm welcome to the stage.
Thank you everyone for being here today. It means more than words can say. So this is the second time I've actually stood up in front of a crowd. The first time was Voices of Impact, November 2023. I want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we gather on and pay my respects to our elders past, present and emerging. For years, I stood beside survivors, helping them without knowing I was one. That's how this began for me. Not with clarity, but with confusion, survival and silence. My name is Alison Rochelle. I'm a former Senior Sergeant with New South Wales Police, 15 years frontline. Child protection, sex crimes, licensing, and the works, rural and city. I'm also a mother to 3 amazing neurodivergent kids, a 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, and my 8-year-old. I live with chronic illness and pain, and I'm a survivor. A survivor of domestic abuse, of systems abuse, of gaslighting, silencing and reclaiming my voice. For years, I didn't know what I was going through. I thought it was normal, like many of us. We always think that it's got to be violence, and if it's not violence, it's not happening to us. I wore the uniform, I helped victims, I knew the signs, but not in my own home, not behind closed doors. I didn't have the language, I didn't have the clarity or the understanding. Facebook helped me. I saw an ad from Michelle asking for those with wanting to help domestic violence victims become an advocate and a mentor. I thought I could help someone else help others. Didn't realise how powerful that would be. Part of the course spoke about how we stand up and advocate for others. I was always advocating for others and had been for years and years, until the 9th of April. I'd been arguing with the police as to why they wouldn't listen to me, why they wouldn't take action about someone who admitted to stalking me, who wanted to kill me, until the 9th. I went into that police station. I had all my evidence, my statements, everything prepared. I'd also received an email just days before telling me I was the problem, that I'd been deemed a vexatious complainant. I sat in that police station, asked why are we not taking action? And I was told that it didn't matter what he wrote in an affidavit. Unless it went before the court, he could say what he wanted. He could admit to stalking me. He could admit to lies. He could admit to whatever he wanted, and the police who were supposed to protect us wouldn't do anything. I was heartbroken because I felt alone. They listened to him. Twice, this person had me attend the police station, being investigated for complaints he made that were completely vexation and retaliation. He contacted Child Services, NDIS, all complaining about me, my support workers, trying to destroy me. And I was sitting there after being able to, I guess, empathise and understand how overworked the police are, how much they have to go through, what is required to actually put a brief together, because I have done it. I've put briefs together for significant matters, including historical sexual assaults and many others. So I knew what was involved. I knew how to fill in the pieces. I knew what was required to put someone before the court. Yet I was still being told, it's easy to charge someone, but we're not doing it. We've got to jump through all these hoops and justify why we won't charge it. But they still weren't charging. I lost count of the breaches. But 3 to 5 times a week, for probably 6 months, I had police on my doorstep reporting matters. And then I realised If I, with all my experience, don't understand the system and what's happening, how does anyone else? That moment broke something open in me. It also built something new, a mission, a message, and a movement. What they don't tell you was born. I couldn't sleep that night after a session. I was up for hours, brainstorming, needing to get everything out of my head, and how I could help, how I could make a difference. I needed to bridge the gap that so many won't talk about, that so many won't share, that is a stigma in our society. And it's not just a local issue, it's not a state issue, it's a global issue. We have a pandemic. We all know in the news so often that there are different stories. Someone's been hurt, someone's been killed. Offenders can be men, be women. They can be children. It can be anyone. A victim can be anyone. Doesn't matter if you're young or old, if you're educated or not educated. We can all fall victim to it. And people often think it is those who don't have the education, those who don't have the knowledge, that are our victims or our offenders. That is not the case. Yes, the media likes to publicise one side of the story quite often, but that's not the truth. They just want to sell. And that's what we need to change. It shouldn't be about selling and what story is going to give us the most promotion and feedback. People aren't broken. It's the systems that are here to support us that are broken. And now what I do is bridge that gap between the lived experience and support systems, between confusion, clarity, between silence and voice. I offer nurturing, advocacy, emotional safety, and education rooted in real lived experience. It started with what they don't tell you, and then a friend suggested it needs to be more than that. It's Ask Alison. You have the advice, you have the experience, you've done so much in your life, you're here to change. So we rebranded. My group is now Ask Alison. It's for all, whether you're a victim, a survivor, a support worker, a family member, even those who may be committing crimes at the moment, who realise they're doing wrong and want to change. It's through that awareness and education and acknowledging that we've got a responsibility that will bring change. Each of us does play a part in what happens. We can't always blame it on the other person. And this is where our upbringing and generational things can happen. We don't stand up, we don't say no. As kids we're told to ignore it. So we don't. We think it's normal. We think it's normal to be teased, to be bullied, to call others names. This needs to stop. And it's only through stopping that and us being accountable that we may witness someone do it, that things will change. Because I know at times I've had friends come to me and say something's happened. And we've dismissed it, oh, it can't be that bad. Because I know firsthand it happened for me. July last year, I reached out for help wanting to leave. The closest to me told me he couldn't be that bad. He's nice to me, he doesn't do any of that. They didn't see what was happening behind closed doors. But they had actually heard what happened that night. It was heard across a 5-acre property. So we're not talking silence here, we're talking something that was witnessed. And the response was still, he can't be that bad. It took me 4 months to leave. It wasn't that I didn't want to leave in that 4 months. I couldn't leave. People often ask, why won't you leave? He always had something important to me that was irreplaceable. My children or my pets. Property is replaceable. I can't replace my children and I couldn't replace their pets. 21st of October was the day that actually changed things for me. I had surgery. So I was able to get children to school, my eldest to a traineeship, and the 2 youngest went to support workers and a new home with the pets, because we're in the process of moving. So I was alone. I was with the one person who was hurting me, but I knew I was going to be okay, because I was going somewhere. The car drive there was traumatic. I didn't know if I was going to make it to the hospital. I have the voice recordings of this occasion and considering calling Triple O. But realised me pulling over on the side of a highway was not safe, was not in my best interest. I continued to the hospital, had to pretend all was okay, gave him $50 because he wanted it, and my car keys. The person came down to help me go up, and I think she realised something was wrong. I said my goodbyes as quick as possible, went upstairs, checked in to say I was there, and got on the phone to the police to report it. There was a pause, there was a silence. I had to check in and make sure they knew not to contact him, that the people I put on my forms were those to be contacted. As I'm preparing to go into surgery, the police called back to go, what can we do? I said, I'm going into surgery. There's nothing we can do at the moment, I need this surgery. So I got home, and that's when they came and saw me. Not a great time to speak to police about something that's happened because you're only in thoughts and anaesthetic, but it did. But I woke up from the surgery having a panic attack. I was in fear. I realised how severe the situation was and I needed to make change. I rang my supports to say, I can't get you to pick me up, I need you to keep my children safe. I need you to keep the pets safe. He'd been stalking me, my phone blew up with messages, where are you, what are you doing? Eventually I found someone available to come and pick me up. They helped. Security got involved, they helped us get out the back door because he was waiting at the front. He damaged my car in this time and caused a few other things. My car's replaceable, I'm not. So we went home and as I said, we spoke to the police. It was that bad, we had crisis accommodation organised because he was sitting outside the property. He'd made threats to kill me and the pets. He knew what mattered and what was wrong with all. So I had to take a stand. Packing up 2 3 neurodivergent children, having to leave animals behind was difficult, but we needed a safe space. I needed to be able to recover that night. And I did. That was just the start. And why I'm doing this is because it matters. So many people are falling through the cracks that are already marginalised, that aren't spoken about. People with disabilities, people from cultural and linguistically diverse backgrounds, are definite hard of hearing communities, rural and remote survivors, those who don't have financial resources, those who've been cut off from family. They're often unheard, unseen, dismissed, and re-traumatised by the systems that are meant to help. We need to change this, because no one should be penalised more for speaking up, going to an organisation that is supposed to help. And that's why this matters. Silence breeds shame, and truth breaks the silence. What they don't tell you isn't just a name, it's a mission. To speak the truth, to restore power, to rewrite the narrative, to give power back, to stop us living in fear. For many years, I've lived in fear. For a while, I even went off Facebook, worried that they were going to find me, that I couldn't be me. That didn't serve me. Then I found something, and it was time to no longer live in fear, that I needed to stand up. I needed to no longer hold that shame of someone else, that I needed to be a voice. And it's on them if they don't like what I share. And yes, people often wonder, how does this impact my kids? And many of us with kids, how do we share our story without hurting them? Obviously, I'm very sensitive to the nature of what's happened. My kids will know the truth. At the moment, I'm currently isolated from my 16-year-old, and that only happened when I asked for help in February this year. So it is very quick how a child who you've provided everything for can be turned against you. I know that will change. I know he knows the truth, and he will be home soon. So, from today, if you take anything, let it be this. You're not too much. You are not broken. You are not alone. You are believed. You are seen. You are heard. You don't need all the answers to make a difference. You just need to start telling the truth. You just need to be honest to yourself. Thank you for letting me share my truth and my story. Let's speak the truth they don't tell you.
Resonated with something from that story and feeling fear, feeling past feeling.
I do want to end it.
Thank you very much.